Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are gonna talk about books, and I can't even believe that I am into reading books because I was the kind of person who would hate reading and anything to do with books, and I hated my school time from the core of my heart. So basically, you get the gist that I used to hate reading and books. Then at a certain age, I really wanted to get into the habit of reading. I actually didn't know that fiction book existed, and I bought like 2 3 non-fiction books, and I did not like it. I mean, it never grabbed my attention at all. I never completed any of them, and then I discovered fiction books and I read my first book, and it all began from there. So yeah, without wasting a minute, I'm gonna be sharing my 10 books which I've read as a beginner and how I like it and how I would rate them. So the first book I read is this called The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and I'm kind of glad that I started my reading journey with this book because it was such an amazing book and it came into my life at the perfect moment when I needed it the most. So basically this book is about a girl जो अपनी life में सब कुछ हार गई है. उसका career, उसका love life, everything has gone to drain. She decides to end her life. I know it sounds a bit depressing, but it's not. And when she takes her life, instead of dying, she goes into this library between life and death. There's like a lot of books in that library which gives you a chance to live a life you could have lived. What would have happened if she would have chosen a different career or spent her life with her ex-boyfriend? Basically, you can live a life you could have lived. It's such a beautiful and magical book. Especially, I love the ending. It gives you a beautiful message. I started to see life differently after like reading this book, and it changed my life. Definitely give this a read. If you want, you can skip like all other books, but don't skip this book. I mean, I guarantee you will love this. Hopefully, you will start to see life differently after reading this book. So yeah, this was my first book, and without any doubt, I will give this a 5 out of 5 star. Second book is this called The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and this is my favorite Frida McFadden book. I really enjoyed this one. This is basically a thriller slash mystery book. This book is obviously about a housemaid. She works in this house. There's something wrong with the house and the people who are living in this house, and you have to basically read it to know what happens. And also इसकी movie भी आ रही है December में, which I can't wait to watch. I can't seem to give you like much about this book because it will ruin the plot, but yeah, definitely give this a read if you're into like thriller and mystery books. It is like very gripping and it grabs your attention like very quickly. You would intentionally want to pick this up and read it. I would rate this a 5 out of 5 star. Moving on to my third book, Set on You by Amy Leah. This was a romantic fiction, and to be honest, I did not enjoy this one. Although I'm not the person who enjoys a lot of romantic books and even movies, but I've read like other romantic books which I'm gonna show you, which I really like. I did not feel the romance in the characters. It did not give me those like butterflies. It was just not for me. Prajakta Kohli recommended this book a lot, so that is why I picked it up. So the story was basically about a girl who is a curvy fitness influencer, and she meets a guy in her gym, and then their love story starts. I'm gonna give this a 2-star rating. My fourth and fifth book were these Housemaid series. This was the second part and this was the third part. To be honest, I did not like both of these. I don't know what it was. Maybe because you get the gist of how Frida writes and you kind of predicts it. I just did not like the storyline of these two. Again, the story is the housemaid works for some people and there's something wrong with the people, and I predicted like almost everything and it all happened in the way I thought it would happen. I would give this a 3-star rating. This one was the least of all the Housemaid series, and I think this though you should definitely skip because the story went like it is going to have a very dark and sinister ending, but then it was like I was like, what? Some people will not be able to predict it, find the plot like very interesting. I will give this a 2-star rating. Here comes my sixth book, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this was my sixth book. This is where it all started. I never knew that I was into romantic books until like this book happened. This is a Too Good to Be True by Prajakta Kohli. To be honest, I am not a Prajakta Kohli fan, but after reading this, I am her big fan. The way this book is written, especially the Indian setting, the Mumbai setting. I have never been to Mumbai, but I am kind of in love after reading this book. So basically, this book is about a girl named Avni. She works in a bookstore, and a guy called Aman walks into this bookstore, and then it was like love at first sight. This book like gave me like butterflies. My favorite bit was when they both goes to Mussoorie. First of all, I love like mountains and hill station. I mean, how do I tell you, this was such a peaceful and calming read. I would give this a solid 5-star rating. Seventh book was this called The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Story is about a woman. She kills her husband and then she stops speaking. Ran my brain too much with this one. Ended up predicted the main plot. The plot was still like very insane. This was again very gripping. You will intentionally find the time to read this book. I would give this a 4 out of 5-star rating. My next book was this called Red Flags and Rishtas by Radhika Agarwal. This was again such an amazing read. This was basically an enemy to lovers book, and इससे पहले I never knew the excitement of enemy to lovers book. I used to be like, क्या है, तुम्हें पता ही है कि वो enemy से lovers बनने वाले हैं, so what is the excitement, until I read this book. This is about a girl who dates online a lot, and she has a score of 153 dates, and she has seen all kind of men, and then she meets a boy and he's like completely opposite. He believes in arranged marriages, and then they make a bet to see who's gonna find the partner first. This is written in a Delhi setting, which made it like more fun. Only small thing I felt about this book was the romance bit was a little less, but I think that's how the enemy to lovers book are supposed to be. Still, I really enjoyed this one. If you read Too Good to Be True and if you liked it, then you will love this too. I would again give this a 5-star rating. Next book was this called The Crash by Frida McFadden. This, to be honest, I did not like. Book is about a woman who is like 8 months pregnant and is going somewhere in her car. She hits the blizzard and met with an accident. Then a family rescues her. She's like all relieved at first, but then obviously there's something wrong with the family. But then I was like disappointed with the climax. This was a 2-star rating for me. Last one is very special, Verity by Colleen Hoover. Give this book a read at your own risk, because this book kept me anxious for so many days. I can't even tell you. Couldn't sleep properly while reading this book. So this was a psychological thriller. I didn't know that this was a psychological thriller. और अगर मुझे पता भी होता तो I was not scared at all. I was like, क्या ही उखाड़ लेगी ये book. Things which are written in this book are very disturbing. It was like very hard for me to read it, but then I wanted to complete it also, and it was like whole other vibe. I was like completely stuck. I took my time with this book and I read it in like, I think I read it in like 2 weeks time. This book is about an author and she met with an accident. She's in a coma state. Her husband and her team hires another author to complete one of her book series, and this other author, which is like not very famous, she comes into this author's home and she goes into her study to sort out like notes and everything, but then she finds a autobiography. She reads that autobiography and the most disturbing things are written in that autobiography. I would give this a 4-star rating. So yeah, that was it, and I can't even believe that I've read like 10 books. This is a very big deal for me. Let me know if you want to see more recommendations, and let me know your favorite book in the comment section. Yeah, I shall see you in my next video. Bye guys.